And if you don't think that blood doping would be advantageous to a footballer, well, guess again. What kind of football are you watching? Do you not see them running back and forth on the field? Do you not think that if you can run faster, longer, that that's going to help you? A guide to doping in football. I just finished doing a bike race and I was sent this video and I just have to react to it. Video's called A Guide to Doping in Football. It's done by Tifo Football. Gonna watch the video, comment, does what they say make sense? Is there doping in football? Let's see what they say.
Gordon Taylor, the longtime CEO of the English Players Union, once said, "I'm almost certain that we have a clean sheet over performance-enhancing drugs." Now, is that really true?
Of course it's not true, and obviously every sport wants to make it look like there isn't a problem. Who wants to say we have a problem? Cycling. Do people dope? Of course they do. Baseball, basketball, soccer, football, golf, tennis, badminton, every sport has doping. Not telling you what you want to hear, telling you what you need to hear. There is, in fact, doping in every single sport, no matter what they want to make it look like. And for them to say, oh, there isn't doping in soccer because these are athletes. They need a vast array of skills. They need quick reaction time, speed, accuracy, and it's more cardio. They're running around. They don't need strength. That's complete and utter BS. But how prevalent is doping in football? Some people are going to say almost nobody. Others are going to say most. What do I say? I say a little bit. Not everyone, certainly not every single athlete, is doping. But on the other end, it's not nobody. Of course there are players that are doing this. If I had to guess, I would say 10%, 1 in 10. I don't know for sure, I'm just throwing out a guess, but if I had to guess, I would say 1 in 10 have doped or are doping currently. And when I say 1 in 10, I don't mean steroids. Doesn't have to be steroids. Could be steroids, SARMs, growth hormone, amphetamines, clenbuterol, blood doping, EPO, the list goes on and on.
There's actually a substantial list of well-known players who have faced drug allegations, and a few have even been handed suspensions, fines, or prison sentences.
And so they have a list of athletes who have literally been caught doping. So to say it doesn't exist doesn't make sense. We literally have evidence, proof that people are doping. And I had to stop when they mentioned stananazole, that's Winstrol, and Ben Johnson's name appears. That is the first time I had ever heard of anyone failing for steroids. Ben Johnson was my hero growing up. I was about 13 years of age. He's setting world records, winning the Olympics 100-meter dash. His eyes were yellow and he looked like a bodybuilder. And lo and behold, your hero tests positive for steroids. And steroids or PD use is prevalent in every single sport. And to make it look like, oh, it's just bodybuilders, powerlifters, those are the ones that do it. That is not true. Just because you don't look like you're jacked, that you take something, doesn't mean that you are natural. I also remember growing up a name, Lyle Alzado. He was a former football player. He was on some sitcom I used to watch. And I remember he was saying that steroids can kill you, causes cancer, I do believe. And he eventually died. For some reason, I think it was brain cancer or something. But I remember him saying, openly coming out and saying, I used steroids and it gave me cancer. And I remember that very well. I don't remember what age I was, but I do remember thinking, wow, it could do that. Because at that time, when we talked about steroids, what was told to me is they don't work. You just need to train harder. Those people, they're just cheaters. They're looking for the easy way out. If you just train hard, you can get the same results. And I believed it. I was just a kid. How would I know any better? Grown adults, teachers are telling me, you don't need them. It doesn't really work. But then I'm seeing my heroes on TV failing for these things. And I'm thinking, well, if it doesn't work and that guy looks like He-Man, then maybe they're lying to me. And as I got older, did more research as I'm moving into university, I'm like, wait a minute, steroids absolutely work. I'm not telling you to take them, but I'd rather give you the knowledge. Knowledge is power. Rather give you the pros, the cons, the good, the bad, the ugly, and let you make your own decisions. I'd rather do that, educate people, than to keep it hush-hush, not tell anyone what's actually happened. I've been very transparent with my own PD use over the years so that people know, what have I done, what have I not done, what am I doing now? Hopefully it educates you and allows you to make your own decisions on whether or not you should be using PDs. And of course, as always, I'm not a friggin' doctor, and I am not encouraging you to ever break the law. Do the opposite. Do not break the law.
And Manchester United midfielder Fred served a 1-year ban after testing positive in 2015 for a banned diuretic, hydrochlorothiazide, commonly used as a masking agent.
Well, I've definitely used that one a lot. I've pretty much used everything they've listed here. Hydrochlorothiazide with triamterene. I've often used that for bodybuilding competitions, for powerlifting, to dehydrate my body. I just really can't imagine why a soccer player would use hydrochlorothiazide. I mean, they'll say, oh, it's a masking agent. Well, what's the good of it masking something else if you fail for that? It's very easy to detect this in your urine, so kind of useless to try to cheat with hydrochlorothiazide.
So it's nonsense, therefore, to claim that banned performance-enhancing drugs are not used in football.
So clearly it's nonsense, pish-posh to think that footballers are not using PEDs.
In broad terms, steroids help to increase muscle mass, reduce body fat, and increase recovery time after injury.
So clearly, Winstrol, Deca, D-Bol, these are all going to be anabolic steroids that will, of course, offer benefit to footballers.
The family of banned stimulants, which can improve focus and alertness, include ephedrine and amphetamines.
And so you've probably heard of ephedrine and amphetamines. Amphetamines is stronger than ephedrine, but ephedrine was a common ingredient in almost all fat burners when I was growing up. Later, it was banned. You couldn't sell it as part of a fat-burning agent, but you can still buy it as 8-milligram pills for nasal decongestants. But you can't use it in drug-tested sporting competitions. So you might think, oh, you're 100% natural. You would never use PEDs. Have you used ephedrine? Have you used caffeine? Even caffeine was banned by WADA. You would get drug tested, fail for taking caffeine. Too many cups of coffee? Sorry, you fail. You're a drug cheat.
If you have asthma, you'll probably use a beta-2 agonist, such as salbutamol, in your inhaler. You may be surprised how many elite athletes, especially cyclists, need this asthma treatment.
And by need, they mean the athletes want it, go to their doctor, get a script saying, I need this. And they say, yep, you got asthma, here you go. But you can't just use it. It's not fair to other people. You probably don't really need it, you want it. There's a difference between need and want. Do I need HRT? Well, the doctor says so, but do I really need it? Would I survive without it? I'd still be alive if I didn't take it. But of course, I feel better with it. So do I need it? Well, it depends on your opinion. So do you really need a medication that's going to give you a performance-enhancing benefit? The answer is, I'm sure it depends. It depends on the situation. Sometimes they will allow a doctor's medication prescription for you to be used in drug-tested competition, but it all depends. I can't get one. Just because the doctor says you need HRT doesn't mean the Olympics is going to say, oh, Coach Greg, you've used PEDs in the past. Now you're shut down. You can go ahead and take HRT at whatever dose the doctor says. Can't do that. If they allowed for that, some athletes would have the highest prescriptions to maximize all the benefits, and I can tell you firsthand that me on 140 milligrams of testosterone a week has a huge advantage over someone who's 100% natural.
Masking agents and infusions above certain levels are banned for obvious reasons. They can mask the usage of banned performance drugs.
And all I can think of with masking agents is the dude has a mask. Like, what does that remind you of these days? Masking agents. I'm thinking, do you have the see-through shield, the mingle mask, or do you have the black mask, the white mask? What's on your mask? I don't think of diuretics to mask other agents. Because listen, if you take a diuretic to mask a steroid and you don't get caught with the steroid, you're going to get caught with the masking agent. So you still fail. So I don't see the point. I don't see people getting away with these drug tests by taking masking agents when they're failing for the masking agent.
And last but not least, among the most common banned drugs and procedures are blood boosters. They are commonly used in endurance sports such as race walking and biathlon.
And as far as blood boosters goes, aside from EPO, what used to be done, and probably is still done to this day, is you can literally remove some of your blood and keep it in a fridge, and then what you literally can do is re-inject this the night before the race and have enhanced oxygen carrying capacities. Huge boost in performance. Imagine you train natural the entire year, and the night before your big race, maybe it's the Olympics, you inject back 2 cups of blood. Imagine how much faster you can run, the extra endurance that you're going to have. This is literally done. It's not a drug, it's not EPO, you're just giving back your own blood. Very difficult, to be fair, when other people are competing with enhanced red blood cell count.
In 1998, a French doctor living in Italy, Jerome Molzer, told the Gazzetta dello Sport that he had given EPO to unnamed Serie A footballers.
And again, growing up, I was riding bicycles, following the Tour de France, and I remember people were failing for EPO and for taking amphetamines, people were dying and so on, going crazy, racing harder than last time. And then later on, it was shown that Lance Armstrong and his crew were doing blood doping literally in a bus on the course. Do a race, stop, hang out in the trailer, and get your blood fusion done. Then the next day, race again. Imagine if that's an advantage to you. Not sure how many people did it, but obviously it was prevalent in cycling. And if you don't think that blood doping would be advantageous to a footballer, well, guess again. What kind of football are you watching? Do you not see them running back and forth on the field? Do you not think that if you can run faster, longer, that that's going to help you? And if you think that you need to go to the extremes like using EPO or blood doping to improve your cardio, there's things that you can get just over the internet. You type GW501516. Cardarine, that can literally improve your performance. It's banned, it's cheating if you use it, but people do it all the time. So rather than pretend it doesn't exist, I'd rather tell people it's there. Not saying you should use it, but it does in fact exist, and a lot of people are using it for this purpose.
Wenger claimed, there are clubs who dope players without players knowing. Club might say that they were being injected with vitamins, and the player would not know that it was something different.
And imagine that. You think you're natural, but they're injecting you and saying it's vitamins. Word of caution, if anyone injects you with anything, find out what they're injecting you with. And I'm not talking about the freaking cove. So yeah, you might be thinking, oh, no one would ever let anyone inject them with something that they don't know what's in it. Look no further than 2021.
Several times he was given supplements or IV treatments not knowing what they contained, and he was only ever drug tested once in his career, all of which made him curious about drugs in football when writing his thesis.
Yeah, I'd be pretty curious if some... I don't even get... Yeah, I'm pretty curious, like, what were they injecting me with? Just, yeah, here's a vitamin. Just accept it. I mean, I would want to know what's in there. Like, would you not? Although we're getting injected with stuff, we don't really know what's in it, really exactly what's in it. So you kind of just go with the flow. I'm sure there's a lot of peer pressure. You're on the team. If you don't do this, you're not on the team. You have to kind of do this. You know, it's hard. It's hard for people. So a former soccer player, Lofty El Bousidi, he decided to do an experiment, find out just how many people are using PEDs in football. So he handed out a very private survey, asked a number of questions, and the results were this. 14 to 30% of footballers had doped in the previous year. So imagine just how many have done it in their lifetime. 14 to 30%. Frankly, that's higher than I would have thought. I, in fact, guessed 10%, 14 to 30%. To me, that's shocking to hear. And at the start of the video, you could see they try to make it look like there's no problem whatsoever. But according to this, 14 to 30% in the previous year.
A footballer gets tested once every 3.5 years.
Hardly regular. So on average, they suspect that only about 1 in 10 are actually caught. So whatever number of people you've ever heard of that have failed a drug test, add a 0 to that. Add a 0. So if there's 10 people caught in any given year, more likely 100 of them are actually using PEDs. Also, if your country really cares about winning and they don't care if you cheat and they are going to hide the results, what good is it? What good is a drug test if the results are hidden? It's only effective if the drug tests are done by somebody who's external, that's not done within the organization. Because how easy it would be to hire someone to drug test you and then fudge the results or throw out all the failures in the trash. Yeah, come over, test 10 people, and whoever passes will publish all that. We won't talk about the ones that fail.
Rickson claimed Pukov offered him injections and he accepted them again and again and again. He wrote,
I didn't have a clue what Dr. Pukov was putting in me, but man, it worked. He's saying he had incredible amounts of energy. So you're getting this transfusion that you don't really know what it is. And all you notice is you're getting better at your sport. Hard to say no.
What is clear is that nobody in football wants to be associated with doping.
And so no organization wants to have drugs as part of the sport. They won't want to be known for illegal drug use. But it is part of every sport, and to pretend it doesn't exist, well, it's not helping. PEDs can improve your performance in any and all sports, irregardless of what's required from that sport. And unfortunately, PEDs have been part of sport for decades. If it had never been invented, obviously it would be better, it would be more fair, but since they are invented, there's going to be people that find a way to use it without getting caught. Ending it here. GregDoucette.com for coaching, Greg Doucette IPU Pro. Please watch one of the bloops. Don't forget, Harder Than Last Time supplements, cookbooks, training books. Click the link in the description. Click the like button if you like the video. Don't forget, you can hire me and my team to make coaching plans for you, customized to you. And until next time, follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I am out.